Hello again, everyone on Snarf Talk.
Holy cow out there in Snarf Talk land.
We are in brand new territory here,
This
Chris.
is
We've never done it before.
This is the whole thing. There's
It's
a whole
like-
thing going on here,
It's
people.
like waking up on a whole new planet.
Yeah.
It's like going to Mars.
It's like Facebook Planet.
We're basically Elon Musk right now.
Or Mark Zuckerberg.
Well, right. Mark Zuckerberg is giving us the platform that we are now live on.
We are hopefully live. We are assuming that it's working. I hope so. You guys can comment in. So let us know because we're new to this as well.
We are very new.
We don't know what's going on exactly.
I don't even know where I'm at.
Our last live stream did work, though.
Yeah.
There is a little bit of a delay, so if you send us some messages, it's possible there might be a couple-minute delay before we respond. I'm assuming they put that delay in there for Jerry's potty mouth.
I would assume so,
Or
yes.
party mouth.
I have a serious party mouth going on all the time.
That could be misconstrued. Yep, we are definitely happening now, live.
Yes, I
So
see it.
We're going to proceed to completely ignore that fact because it's weird. Really,
It is weird. Isn't it weird that we're being watched
We record every week,
every
and
single
it's not an issue.
We have a camera in front of us
But
every
there's
week.
something weird about being live.
And knowing that people could see us
Yeah,
right now.
yeah,
Normally, I'm fine with people seeing us a week later.
yeah.
You know, when the episode comes out or
We've
whatever.
literally never edited the show before, so I mean,
That is true.
So there is a chance this could go out. There's a chance sometimes our equipment malfunctions. We might have to stop.
Very
and
true.
it would start a new stream. I don't even know how that works. We don't know how any of this works.
To be honest, I feel like if it ends, it ends, and I apologize. But guess what? It comes out on Monday, and it'll be on YouTube. So
Yeah. So this is a chance for us to talk to probably some new listeners and new audience.
yeah,
This is a podcast. We are available in all podcast apps like Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, all of those things.
tune in, Downcast, Pocket Cast.
I still think personally that that's the best way to listen to this show.
Agreed.
To subscribe, and it would be great if you could leave us a review in Apple, 5-star review, written review. That'd be great. But we also are going to do this on Facebook, hopefully YouTube as well.
Mm-hmm.
This video will also be available on YouTube later, like all of our episodes.
Yes.
This is our 96th episode, so there's plenty for you to dig through if you're new to this or new listener. It's really weird because I'm watching the live stream.
You probably shouldn't.
No, I'm not going to do that anyway.
You probably shouldn't.
And you can support our show on patreon.com/snarfcomics. And you can subscribe at a bunch of different levels for as little as $1 a month.
$1, guys.
We did get a brand new Snarf, Lord of Snarf, right?
Yeah.
Duke?
A
Duke. We now have a Duke and a Duchess.
We do have a Duke
And
and
they
a
live
Duchess.
in relatively close proximity to each
They're
other.
in the South.
Yeah.
They're all the South.
But we do have a new Duke of a Duke of Snarf. Mm-hmm. And we wanted to give a shout out to Mr. Kevin Seedentop.
Thank you,
Tip of the cap to you.
Kevin.
He had one request.
One request to be a Duke of Snarf Talk, and that is
He wanted a new segment on the show that was basically calling out every time that David Seedentop is wrong.
is wrong, or we feel as if he's wrong,
Yeah.
regardless of fact.
So we are going to have a new segment in this show called David Was Wrong.
David sucks and is wrong.
Yeah, and I've prepared that. Also, our big one this week is, and I'm very sorry to our dear friend and listener, Mr. David Timmons.
I'm sorry, bud, but we just couldn't hold back.
And it was another request from our new Patreon subscriber. He wanted this top 10.
And it was a top 10 request from David Timmons a long time ago. He just wanted to be involved with it.
Yeah. But we got plenty more that I know he wants to be in. We could do horror stuff. He likes horror.
Yes.
We can do other stuff with him. So we are going to do top 10 Nic Cage movies
Nicolas Cage,
this week. That'll be coming up probably a little further on in the show. We're going to do some news first. We'll probably talk about a little things we've been watching.
Yep.
If you're new to the show, typically we do some news. We talk about the happenings in pop culture, comics, pop culture, movies, mostly movies and TV.
Yeah. big time.
We will talk about shows we've been watching and shows that are coming up that we want to watch. And we do a top 10 or we talk about ridiculous stuff. So
Right. Sometimes it's a bit of a potpourri, a little bit of everything, right?
Potpourri.
A potpourri of news, what you're watching, randomness of all sorts. This one is going to be a top 10. So We will have the first probably hour. Because if you're new, this is a 2-hour long deal, guys.
Yeah.
So, sit
Just
back,
think of it,
relax,
pretend
strap
like
it
you're
down.
watching the evening news with David Muir. That's 2 hours long, right?
Is it?
I don't know. I've never seen it.
I don't think it is.
Watch the news, but
I don't think it's that long.
but they're
David Muir.
a football contest is like 4 hours long.
Is that what they're called? Football contests? Maybe a baseball match?
Yeah, they put on the leather helmets.
Right. Throw around the
And they go
pigskin.
smash the gridiron.
You're going to go hammer the pigs.
Speaking of the NFL, I had to bench my number one receiver on my fantasy team this week because he happens to play for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh,
and their
he's
game
full of COVID.
got COVID canceled.
They are full of COVID.
And it's really unfortunate for me.
That is really unfortunate. I haven't had to bench any of my starters, and I'm doing pretty well.
So in my second league, which I have the better team of, I had a little guy named Michael Thomas.
He seems like a good receiver.
And Devontae Adams.
He seems like a second good receiver.
Both of them injured for the last 2 weeks. Well, Devontae out last week. Michael Thomas has been out for 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
And my entire bench, every single player on my bench is out.
Holy cow.
Every single one of them.
So you probably had like Sterling Shepard and
I did not.
a bunch of other people because there are so many people that got injured in week 2.
Well, first of all,
the
my
NFL.
number one receiver, running back was Christian McCaffrey.
Oh, he's dead.
He's basically died.
Yeah, he's dead.
Yeah, it's been a real sham of a season for me.
I tell you what, I'm doing pretty well, Chris. I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum here where none of my people, knock on wood, have been injured. And it seems to be, you literally, so this is live, and I looked at your phone, and Mr. David Timmons just texted you and me, and it says, "You're dead to me." So he's apparently watched and found out that we are going to do the Nic Cage top 10.
We will find another phenomenal top 10 for him to do.
Sorry, David. Yeah, you've got the horror movie thing still coming. You can do that. I don't like horror movies, but we'll talk about it.
Yeah, that makes you an even more featured guest.
Honestly, I might have a horror movie on my top 10
Ooh,
tonight.
that's an interesting thing.
It is.
I know which one it is.
You don't have a clue.
I know exactly what
Don't
it is.
even act like you know.
So, anyway,
I got another little tidbit here. All right. I guess we could consider it news. I guess we'll consider it news and that we're into the news now. But this news has to deal with a bet that Snarf Talk made many, many months ago.
Oh.
You're involved with the bet because you're part of Snarf Talk. I don't know if you know this.
Yes,
though
I do remember I was roped into this, even though it had me, basically, I was going against my own better conscience.
Correct. So I am a White Sox fan. Chris is a Cubs fan. I had made a bet with an avid listener that we're going to have a segment about here shortly, Mr. David Seedentop, and that the White Sox would have a better record at the end of the season than the Cubs would. Everyone laughed at me, threw stones, chuckled, said, "How ridiculous. I will take that bet." And everybody took the bet. And Chris was on the Snarf Talk side, obviously, even though he wanted the Cubs to do better. And the bet was that either if the Cubs had a better record, David Seedentop was going to have to be deemed a king on our Patreon account.
Oh, yeah, King of Snarf.
The king of Snarf for an extended period of time. I think something else was involved with that. And then if the White Sox won, David has to cook Chris and I and our wives a meal, like a 3-course fine dining meal.
An experience. A
culinary
experience.
food experience that we are going to live, and he has to provide it for us, which is going to happen. The White Sox had a better record by 1 game. They ended the season playing the Cubs 3 games. They were 2 games ahead of them when they came into this series. Cubs won the first game. White Sox won the second game, which basically solidified it, and then they lost the third game. They were 1 game better. And now the White Sox were in the playoffs and ended up losing today in the first round, which is fine. I'm happy. They had a very good...
I get my dinner out of it, so that's all that matters.
And at the end of the day, David wins on both ends. He wins if he's the king of Patreon, king of Snarfland, but he also wins because he enjoys cooking. He loves doing this kind of stuff, and it gives him a reason to flaunt his talents, if you will.
He is a flaunter.
He's such a flaunter.
We do have some people that are commenting in.
Oh yeah, what do we got?
David Timmons says, "You are butt."
Okay, so he's upset.
And Sarah Punky says, "Hey boys,
Hey boys,
boys,
hey girl." I think.
Yeah, we actually got some people watching. So
Okay, good.
we're gonna do our best to ignore you. I will keep the comments up if you have.
We won't ignore everyone.
No, I'm just kidding. We will keep the comments up and see if that works. This delay is kind of weird, but that's fine. So, brand new segment off the gate.
All right, let's get into it. David sucks.
David was wrong.
Oh, David was wrong.
Okay.
Where are we starting with that?
This week, so a couple weeks ago, we had a very popular show, Top 10 Fast Food Restaurants.
Oh, yes, we did. Oh my gosh, he was so wrong.
Yeah, he had sent in his top 10.
Yes.
And they're not all terrible by any means.
No.
But there's 2 on this list that are wrong. He's wrong about.
And he left one out.
So I'm just gonna read his top 10 to you.
Okay. Let's hear it.
His number 10 was Culver's.
I liked Culver's, had it on my top 10.
I'm not a fan, but that's fine. His number 9 was Arby's. A little high on the list for me, but I had it at number 3 or 4.
Yeah, so it's low on his
Whatever.
list. I had it as number 2, so yeah, that's a low pick.
His number 8 is Dwight Dairy Queen. I get it. It's great.
Yep.
Wendy's 7. I'm going to skip over
Wendy's,
that
no, I don't think should be on a top 10. Wrong.
one. I was on mine. Number 6.
It's wrong.
He was wrong, Jerry. And he put on Fazoli's.
Do people eat there? Is that a real
Fazoli's
thing?
is like your grade school cafeteria
Yes.
where they just slop spaghetti.
It's like where when you were in grade school, everybody liked the square pizza, right? Like
Yeah.
the square rectangular pizza. Everybody talks about it, how they liked it. You don't actually like that.
Was it actually good?
No.
Everybody says that.
It
But
was not good. You were a child and you wanted pizza and you got it at school and you thought it was like the best thing.
You're like, oh my God, they're making pizza.
Yes. Mom doesn't let me have this on Wednesdays.
You know what happens though if you go to a poor school like Mazan was?
Yeah.
The day after you had pizza soup.
No, you didn't. There was no pizza soup.
Yes, there was.
There was.
I swear to God,
Are
I
you
swear to
joking
God,
me?
when I was in school, they had pizza soup. It was
I wasn't far behind you in school, and I did not have pizza
maybe it was
soup.
when I was in 6th grade and you were just a little in
Could
like
have been.
3rd or 4th.
I would think I was in kindergarten.
They cut it up into pieces, the leftover pizza, and they threw it in tomato soup, and they had pizza soup. I swear to God.
I've never heard of that ever in my life. I don't.
They had it at Mazan.
Maybe it's because I basically brought a cold lunch every day in grade school because I hated everything.
You're one of those people.
I was.
We have a rule in our house that our children are only allowed to bring cold lunches once a week.
Yeah, we don't. The boys eat at school almost every day, and they very rarely ever turn it down.
Oh, Kristen Kinsella says, Fazoli's is life for Mike. Fazoli's is garbage.
Well, Mike is also a caveman, and he will eat dirt.
Yeah,
So-
he would happily eat dirt.
I've watched the man take a package of hot dogs just cold. I know they're cooked, but who does this? Who opens a whole package of hot dogs and just starts taking bites out of them?
I would do
Why would
that
you do-
every day after school. I would eat cold hot dogs.
That is ridiculous.
I've seen him do it with raw bratwurst, though.
Well, he
or
ate-
raw steak.
He was eating raw meat when we were on our camping
Yeah.
trip.
So that doesn't count. Fazoli's is
Bacon.
garbage.
He was eating raw bacon.
Yes, he was. Number 5, we got In-N-Out. He's got
I had In-N-Out on mine, but it was number 10. He had it way too high.
number 4, he's got Portillo's. That's fine. Number 3, he's wrong about.
Yeah.
He's got Panda Express.
Garbage.
Panda Express shouldn't even exist.
It really,
It's the garbage of the Asian food
it's the
community.
Chipotle of Asian food.
Yes.
It really is.
It's terrible.
And if you accept Panda Express as being like good fast food, I just feel like you're an idiot,
Yeah.
David.
It's really not
Sorry.
good.
And I mean, wouldn't you?
It literally, you walk down a line
If
and they
you-
slop shit onto a tray and you're just like,
Yeah.
oh, give me some fried rice and lo mein. And then they slop it in there. And then you're like, give me orange chicken. They're like, well, what else you want? I'm like, more orange chicken? I mean, what?
Yeah, I don't know. General Tso's?
They don't have that.
They don't have that?
I think they only have orange chicken.
To be honest, I've never eaten at a Panda Express ever in my life.
Oh, well, you've You've lived a good life. Then.
Yeah, I have. I'm coming out on top here. If you go to the Dwight, if you would have put Dwight Chinese restaurant, I don't even know what that's called, or like
Dwight's not the best.
Oh no, that's my point. It's not the best, but it's better than Panda Express.
Absolutely.
So therefore, I mean, they're cooking straight up stray dogs, stray cats, things that most people just don't want. They're getting rid of these animals.
Yeah, the drifters that live in that hotel behind.
Yes. All of the extra protein that is just out wandering on its own, that's still living. These Chinese restaurants will cook them. It is still better than Panda Express. All of it. I will eat anywhere besides that place. I've never eaten it. I won't. Refuse.
Ryan Fry says David has garbage taste buds. So we're going to have to agree with that.
Yeah.
Number 2, we had Taco Bell, which that's fine. It's good.
Hey, that was my number
your
one.
number one.
I feel like
number 1, he's got
nailed that
Jimmy
one.
John's, and he gave us a very passioned argument for that, and I can't fault him for that. It's a great place. No Five Guys, though, on the list.
I didn't put Five Guys on my list either, though.
You're wrong. No McDonald's on your list.
That is what's ridiculous. He didn't
of
put
course.
McDonald's on his list whatsoever, and he acts like it's trash food.
Yeah.
Get your head on straight, bud. Everybody in America eats at McDonald's. I don't care. No, it's not like a fine dining experience at McDonald's.
Well, this is a top fast food restaurants list, so.
Exactly, but the way he spoke about McDonald's hurt me.
I agree. That was my number 1. So that's it for the segment of David was wrong.
And we're going to end it like this.
Or we need a better name for that segment, but
We're going to call it David is a Karen.
your brother-in-law said, "Can I come over and crash the live broadcast?" He can be on the live broadcast.
You can come on the broadcast. That's all you got to do.
It's going to take a lot of work to figure that out, but we can figure it out.
Oh, not tonight. Another night. You're too late.
We're going to do this every week, so we're good.
Right.
We got a little bit of news.
We do. Bring it on
A
me.
very small bit of news. Since we were talking about the NFL sporting contests,
Oh, yes.
there's a little bit of late breaking news in the sports world. Has nothing to do with football.
Okay.
The Chicagoland Speedway has been axed.
It has been axed. It's been taken out of the NASCAR loop. Now, to be honest here, how many people are watching NASCAR nowadays?
It's struggling,
I used to.
but that's a new track. It's a big track.
I used to be a huge fan of NASCAR, and I used to go to the Chicagoland Speedway
Me too. We had
every year.
We had a camping spot at
Yeah.
Speedway Ridge.
And it was a great time. Loved it. Phenomenal experience. And to be honest, I thought it was still a very good experience for everybody that was going there up until last year. Apparently, NASCAR has no room for it and axed it from its list of events. And they're also talking about putting in, like, they're literally talking about getting rid of it, like bulldozing it down and putting in big warehouses.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And the NHRA is not having the national drag
That I didn't know.
contest thing at the other
Do you know who hurts the most from this?
John Force.
Yes, and Ashley Force's daughter. But no, all the houses that were around there that were getting paid for parking, that people were paying them for parking, those people had a legitimate income every year. And then when they made it 2 races a year, they were racing there twice.
I don't remember that.
They later on, the last like probably 5 or 6 years, they've been racing there twice a year. One in June or July and one in September. Like
Is
a
there
late
any
race.
way that they recouped the cost of building that in the 10, 15 years it existed?
Oh, I'm sure they have.
Well, it seems like they could still have big concerts there.
If they don't bulldoze it and put warehouses on the land. But
'cause
all those people around there are losing out on so much money that I guarantee you was like their income for the year. Because so many people had like prime parking that were.
Okay, but that wasn't their income for the year.
It
for
was
2 races.
I bet you it was a lot of it. They were charging so much money and they had huge little plots of land. Like they were parking hundreds of cars on.
Okay,
and
100
making
cars at $20 a pop. What's that? 20 grand?
Yeah. Twice a year. So you're getting 40 grand cash.
Yeah, I'm sure that's not their income for the year, but
I know, but
Their
I
property
bet you they
taxes.
looked forward to that every single year
yeah, I'm sure.
that they will never get again
Poor suckers.
because of stupid NASCAR.
NASCAR. NASCAR. So anyway, that stinks because I had a lot of great memories of that track.
Yeah, I do too.
And it wasn't a great racetrack, to be honest. The races were always very boring.
Very boring. Mile and a half oval.
Everybody would just spread out and just go around, and nothing ever happened really. That was exciting.
The only good part about it is that you could see every part of the track. No matter where you sat, you could see everywhere on the track. Because there are some races like Indianapolis Speedway where you better get a good seat on a good corner or the straightaway or something. Otherwise, you're only going to see like one little section of the race.
See, we had a spot up against the fence on Speedway Ridge. So it's the opposite side from the grandstands.
Yeah.
Right at the 50-yard line. And you could see the entire track.
You mean the start-finish line?
No, that was over by the grandstands.
I know, but they also don't have a 50-yard line. So,
Well, basically same thing.
okay.
Yeah, so that's a shame. I got some Marvel Cinematic Universe news for you.
I like me some Marvel Cinematic Universe.
The MCU has said that they have brought back or are bringing back Jamie Foxx to play Electro again in Spider-Man 3.
My God. Are you joking me?
No, seriously.
This does not sound good.
Well, apparently they really liked the character.
Why?
I don't know, but he was in
Isn't that like widely hated on?
yes. Well, that movie was. I don't know about if he was
I think
or not.
his character
I don't
kinda
think
was,
he
too.
was very good in it, but
No.
that is a big character. I don't know why you just wouldn't
So they're gonna,
recast it
like-
at this point because it's a completely separate universe.
Why are you putting the same character in a movie
Right, with
again
a different Spider-Man.
with a different Spider-Man? I don't.
He's in final talks, so it's not I guess it's not a done deal, but he's in final talks to play Electro,
Not smart.
which he played in 2014's Amazing Spider-Man 2. Yeah, so it might have something to do with the multiverse, though. We don't know.
It could be. Hopefully, I have faith that they will do it better because everything that has come out Spider-Man related in the last 5 to 6 years is phenomenal.
Yeah, I trust them. They'll do a good job.
So I do trust that they will do a good job with that, but that character is not good.
One other quick thing that I got. I think we need to round up a Snarf Talk road trip, perhaps.
Oh, I like road trips. But how are we going to do this with COVID, Chris?
November 1st, Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes are coming to Chicago for an outdoor live podcast.
November 1st, outdoor live podcast,
Now,
Chicago.
They're from California.
How are they going to survive
I
outside?
don't know if they really know what they're getting themselves into. But
And Kevin Smith is pretty skinny now.
yeah,
He ain't got that, that insulation that he used to have.
So I think we should go to that. Jay and Silent Bob Get Old is not my favorite podcast. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, I don't care, but watching it live is a way different experience than listening to the regular podcast.
Yeah, I did. I did go to one Jay and Silent Bob Get Old podcast that you ditched me for.
I know.
So
You
I had
say
to
it
go
every time.
by myself like a jackass
Every time you tell me this.
down to Watsika,
This
Illinois.
is probably the 47th episode that this has been brought up on.
So anyway, I think we should go to that November 1st. I'll probably still be in the field.
It's my
but
sister's birthday.
I think we can figure it out. Your sister is in. She's watching right now.
Well, your birthday is
Say
November
happy
1st,
birthday.
Katie, and I'm going to go to a show for you and see Kevin Smith.
And not call you. Or
I'll be
anything.
busy. Happy birthday to Katie.
That's all I got for news. I don't know if you got anything else.
I really don't. Not really. I had no news. I told you that before. You told me you had all the news.
I didn't. That was all of it. I do have an article on everything coming to Netflix, Disney Plus, HBO Max, Hulu, and Amazon Prime in October. If you want to know,
That seems like a lot.
I'm not going to read them all.
Okay.
But I can give you.
Give me the basis. Give me the good stuff. The things that will get me fired up,
Netflix,
if you will.
Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls.
I will watch that.
That'll be on there. Basic Instinct. Cape Fear. That's a good one.
I'd never seen Cape Fear, but Basic Instinct isn't that great.
I mean, there's lots. Ghost Rider. Speaking of Nicolas Cage.
Speaking of the old Nic Cage, because if you weren't aware, we're doing a top 10 Nic Cage movie.
We are, despite David's protests.
Right. Well, we're dead to him now, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and we're but. We are but.
We are but.
Disney Plus has one thing coming in October.
One thing.
Maleficent.
You know, I've never seen that.
It's pretty good.
Should I see that?
Yeah, it's good.
Angelina Jolie.
Yeah, Angelina Jolie.
Angelina
Jolie.
Angelina Jolie.
Yeah, it's.
I believe
good
it's a Colombian name.
I believe so. Do you know she's John Voight's daughter?
I did know that.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I think it's widely known. I don't think it's like much of a secret.
Well, anyway, Hulu. Who cares? Skip that one.
What do you mean? Who cares? They've had phenomenal stuff.
They don't got. Yeah, I mean they got Blade, Trinity,
Oh well, that's not that
Hell's
great.
Kitchen season 18.
I'm gonna watch that.
I will.
I will
watch
absolutely watch that because they've only had up to 17 on there, and I haven't seen past 17.
that. Kicking and Screaming, which we just got a poster for.
You did. Go back to last week's episode, number 95, and you will see, if you watch it on YouTube, I guess, or here, the posters that Chris has purchased. He purchased one poster. It was a Swamp Thing poster. Love it.
It's amazing.
They just happened to give him their other garbage posters
Yeah.
with it for some reason.
So if anybody, we're gonna have a contest, and you could win a Cannonball Run original movie poster.
Which I kind of like.
Yeah, or possibly Poltergeist 2.
Yes. Or a Kicking
Or
and
Kicking
Screaming.
and Screaming.
What was the small one? There
That was Kicking and Screaming.
Okay, yeah, it's like not even an 11 by 17.
All right. HBO Max, the big dog. Here's what we got coming. All-Star Superman. Just the comic.
All right.
Analyze This and Analyze That.
I don't even know what those are.
De Niro, Billy Crystal.
I don't think I've ever seen them.
Oh my gosh. All the Austin Powers movies.
I like those.
Best in Show.
I love that movie.
Boogie Nights.
Never saw it.
You've never seen Boogie Nights?
Was never allowed. It came out when I was really young.
Oh my gosh. Catwoman with Halle Berry.
There's a lot of like sexual things in Boogie Nights.
City Slickers 2, The Legend of Curly's Gold.
That's a good one.
That's a solid movie.
I need to watch City Slickers again.
That's, nothing else too exciting. Eraser.
Nah. But that's an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. It's pretty good.
You can do a pretty good Arnold Schwarzenegger impression.
Get out of here.
That's pretty good.
That's all I can do.
Lethal Weapons 2 through 4.
Those are very good.
Yeah.
Why do they do that?
Oh,
2
no.
through 4?
No, all of them.
Oh.
Sorry, all of them.
I was going to say, why do they always keep like one movie out of the sequence there? A lot of places
Well,
do
they're
that.
not doing it.
Just like you said, the whole Ace Ventura When Nature Calls. All right, that's the second one. What about the first one? Is it already on there?
Probably already on there.
Are they just not going to add it? What's the deal?
And then basically nothing else too exciting. There's a couple more. Oh, that South Park Pandemic Special, which I wanted to see. It was on the other night, I think.
Was it on already?
I think it's been on. I believe it was on the other night.
So did they air it live and then we'll air it as a special again after that?
Yeah,
or?
all of South Park, I believe, is on HBO Max. So it'll come out.
Oh, it is?
I think so, yes.
I didn't know this.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1, 2, and 3.
Okay, I got to watch number 3. The boys haven't seen number 3 yet.
Is that the one where they go back to feudal Japan?
They do.
Oh, it's great.
Number 2 is like Secret of the Ooze.
Here's one that we all want to watch. We Will Rise. Michelle Obama's mission to educate girls around the world.
We will
Rise.
I think that's the theme song.
And on Amazon, of course, there's a bunch of other stuff. Nothing that jumps out at me. But The Wedding Singer.
Love that movie. No, you know what I love?
Oh my gosh. That's all just on October 1st. I can't go through this list.
Holy
it's
smokes.
forever long. There is more stuff coming to Disney Plus.
Listen up, though. If you are a big fan of The Wedding Singer, you need to watch The Goldbergs because they had one single episode where they tied in The Wedding Singer into what's that one main character's name on The Goldberg?
Adam.
Is it Adam Goldberg?
Yeah.
That's the one with the curly hair
Adam.
that was on the plane.
I Was it Barry on the plane?
Barry was on the plane. Is Barry the younger one or the older one?
Barry's the older one.
Okay, yes, the older one with the girlfriend. They were riding on the plane, the same plane that Adam Sandler was on during the whole, like, gonna make you smile.
Yes.
And it's one of the best scenes in TV history.
It is. It really is.
I absolutely loved that. And the whole, like, get out of the way, Billy, was involved with it too. And I thought it was so great. Because Billy Idol is also on the plane that they really kind of pass over.
Yeah.
They're not really caring about Billy Idol being on the plane.
And how dare you
I know.
not care about Billy Idol?
I know.
He's my idol.
He's, in the mood for
Dancing
a white
with
wedding.
Myself. It's one of my favorite songs.
What about Rebel Yell?
Yes. That's a good one.
Yeah.
With a rebel yell, we cry more, more, more. That should be our next Snarfioki.
I think it will be in about 2 hours.
So we're going to do our top 10, but first I think we should do what we're watching real quick.
Okay. Mine's going to be quick. I got 2 things.
Oh my God, Jerry.
I'm a busy man. I can't stay up all night.
Okay.
I actually got 3 things.
Okay.
You go.
So I finished all 3 seasons of Yellowstone. Finally.
Do you sleep?
A show so aggressively mediocre
So you were in this.
that everybody loves more than anything in the world.
I know everybody loves it. And there was a series of text messages last night talking about this. And it just doesn't spark me as something I need to watch now.
No, I think you'd like it. David said it best. He said it's like the OC on a ranch.
I hated the OC.
Yeah, me too. It's just extremely dramatic. It's the most dramatic thing I've ever seen. Like crazy shit happens in every episode that is like whatever could cause the
Just
most
so outlandish that
outrageously dramatic. And
there-
the season finale for the 3rd season
yeah.
is so ridiculous. It's
Really?
out of control.
Does it involve coyotes?
No, there are coyotes in the show.
Are there
And
coyotes?
wolves and grizzlies.
I tell you what, I was outside putting the chickens away 2 nights ago, and something growled at me from the weeds, and I ran inside like a child.
Was it a coyote?
I have no idea. I got scared.
You were scared of a coyote?
I don't know what it was. It growled at me, and then the weeds rustled around, and I was like, I'm out of here. I have no weapons on me whatsoever, and I ran inside. And then I told Grady, I was like, there's something in the weeds out there, man.
Oh, that's a really great thing to do.
No, I didn't tell him that I was like frightened, but I did tell him something growled at me outside. Because it did. I don't know what it was.
It was probably a badger.
I think it might have been. Or maybe the mink is
I
getting
think
bigger.
you'd rather tangle
I think
with
the
a
mink's getting
coyote than a
bigger.
badger.
I agree. They're almost like a Wolverine. Are they cousins to a Wolverine, you think?
Second cousins, once removed.
I knew it.
Yeah.
I
Real
knew
close.
I knew they were close.
There was a neighbor of ours had a badger issue.
Do they come down here?
They're here, man. He has a runway, and this badger kept digging a big ass burrow in the middle of the runway.
Oh, really?
And so they'd go try and get it during the day, but it's gone. They travel like 5 miles a day
I thought they were
to get food.
They're not nocturnal.
I don't know. But
They're a daydreamer, huh?
I think so. So they travel a big distance during the day to get food. And they were trying to stake this thing out and get rid of it. They finally got rid of it somehow. I don't know. But yeah, it was a badger.
So I had a story today of a guy I used to work with. He works at the Brandon Road Lock and Dam, happens to be the lockmaster there. And a salesperson was there, and then the salesperson happened to come down to my lock trying to sell me stuff. Well, in the process of conversation, he knew that I had known this man very well. And he said, oh, I saw a snake up at Brandon Road. He's like, there was a snake just sitting by the gate, pretty big, black. It was a bull snake, pretty big snake. And he just happened to tell him, he's like, oh, there's a snake by that gate. He said, oh, there is? He said, yeah. He's like, it looks to be alive. It's just cold, so it's not moving around much. It was relatively early in the morning, like 9 o'clock before it warmed up really. And this man's comment was, oh, all right, well, we'll throw gas on it later. Is that a thing?
Just gas that snake out, man.
Do people just Put gas on snakes?
Yeah. You got to gas them snakes, Jerry.
And
It's a pretty common thing.
I don't think it is.
You've never gassed a snake?
Nobody gasses a
Oh,
snake.
yeah. Surefire way to desnakeify your landscape.
Apparently.
Just gas
You
them.
just dump gas around.
Just cover your whole yard in it.
Guaranteed to keep snakes away.
Works even better
Gasoline.
if you light it all on fire.
Well, is that his intention? Or is his intention just to pour gas on the snake and hope that it may die from that later?
I don't know. That's a good question.
That's what we were literally having the conversation for quite a while on what he actually meant, because I've never heard of this. I've never heard of somebody just saying, yeah, we'll dump some gas on it later.
We'll dump some gas on her.
And that's what he said. Never heard of that ever. Anyway, badgers.
Badgers, snakes. Badgers and snakes are mortal enemies, right? Oh, no, that's mongoose.
That's a mongoose. They can fight cobras.
So speaking of your mink problem, though, I was just happening to drive to work here one day, and my office is not by the woods. I mean,
No,
we're
it's in the
eighth
middle
of
of
a
the
mile
field.
away from the woods. Pull in my driveway, and there's a curious looking, all black little creature,
Yeah.
and I'm like, "What the hell is that thing?"
Kind of snaking his way.
Yes, and so it
Looping
runs off the driveway into the yard, and I immediately just start driving through the yard, like literally after it, trying to cut it off. I wasn't trying to run it over.
Oh, they're
I was just trying to cut it off because it was aiming towards the bean field,
Okay.
and I'm like, I think it's a mink, and they kind of
They like,
hop,
yeah, it's not like a,
like
it's
a snake-like
a
movement.
slithering hop.
Yes,
So
and they like look wet, like
They're
slicked back black hair.
yeah, so they're a weasel cousin. They're a cousin to the weasel. Maybe not even second cousin once removed. They're like legit cousin to a weasel, and like a ferret type animal. But they are usually very dark colored. Could be a dark brown, could be a black, but that's what they look like. And their tail is basically as long as what their body is. So it's like 100% of their length is their tail.
Yeah,
And they're very small, and they just kind of
and pretty
hop
fast.
around. So this is why they're very hard to shoot, because I have tried to shoot at these things a few times, and when they keep hopping around like that, it's the same thing in Fortnite. In Fortnite, all these people do is they jump.
It's annoying.
They just constantly jump around. You know where they learn that? Minks.
They do.
It's stylized off of a mink culture that I can't stand, and I won't stand for.
I
Chris.
won't
I won't back
be prey
mink
to the
culture.
mink.
I won't stand for mink culture, and they should be eradicated, because I tell you one thing, my chickens don't really enjoy them.
No,
They're all headless now.
they deep bloodify them pretty quick.
Chew their heads off.
No.
It's bad. So did you get it, or did it escape?
No, it escaped into the bean field. I didn't get it.
You didn't drive through your bean field?
I mean, I could have, but I
Yeah.
wouldn't have known where to drive. I mean,
Well, just up and down it.
all of it.
Just, yeah.
I didn't do that.
You can follow the rows. It's not hard.
Well, I didn't, and I didn't get it. But I thought it was odd that a mink was so far away from everything. And I have only ever seen them by the creek ever in my life.
Yeah, as far as I know, they don't really travel that far away from a creek or a body of water of some sort. Normally it is some sort of flowing water, because they do eat, their main diet is really fish and like animals around a creek. That's what they eat. It just so happens that
Shellfish.
I live very close to a creek, and so do my chickens.
Because you're rich. Rich people live by water.
Okay.
Always.
Really?
Yeah,
Your ditch has a lot of water in it,
it does.
so you're rich too.
Kaylee Swartz Walker says, "Hey guys,
Hey, she's the one who wants the crew neck that you need to order.
come on, just wear a hoodie like a regular person.
She doesn't want a hoodie, man. And I told her we'd get her a crew neck.
Wear the hoodie and cut the sleeves off."
That's like Rocky Balboa, though.
Yeah. What's the relation to Caleb Swartz?
None.
0? Okay.
0. Yeah, not at all.
All right, anyway, Yellowstone we were talking about. I would recommend.
Was that all
Yeah.
based off of a Yellowstone story?
Yeah, I think you should watch it. I think you would enjoy it. I think you should watch it. I think you would like it more than I liked it.
Really?
Let me put it that way.
Because of Kevin Costner? That's the only reason I want to watch it.
It's hard to stop watching. It's so dramatic. It sucks you in. You need to know what happens in the next episode. Season 3 was a little slower than the first 2, I thought, but it ended strong. It's like Dallas. You ever watch Dallas?
A little bit, yeah. Who Shot JR?
That's how season 3 kind of is molded after.
My question is like, I don't like annoyingly the way you've explained it, like how over the top it is, like how like the outlandish things that happen in order to create drama.
Oh,
right?
yeah, that happens
And
in every episode.
I don't like that. I don't like that in most shows, to where it's just so overly dramatic on purpose, you know, to create the tension. And I just don't think it's necessary. You can write a better story than that and still have people hooked in what you're doing.
Right.
From what you've told me, from what I've heard of other people, it just sounds really annoying. Even though the country is in love with Yellowstone. I guess I should maybe give it a chance.
It is. It's getting like 5 million views per episode. It's the number 1 cable television show. It finally beat out The Walking Dead.
The number 1 cable television show is Yellowstone.
Yes, that is correct. So yeah,
Wow.
it's got a big viewing audience. Did we talk about the Walking Dead? Did we do that news already?
No.
Last season? Yeah, we did.
Oh yeah, I brought that up a long time ago. Way long time ago.
What have you been watching? What else do you got?
So obviously The Boys.
The Boys, yes. Same here. There's a new episode tonight.
There is a new episode coming tonight.
Guys,
I watched
if
the
you're not,
sixth.
If you're not watching this show, you need to. This is the show you need to be watching.
I'm telling you, you really do. Every single episode has something happen in it that I cannot believe. And
boy, that's the truth.
The 6th episode I watched again last night. I thought I was behind an episode. So I got back on there and started watching it last night, and then I realized I had already seen this episode, but I watched it all over again. And right in the beginning, I'm just going to spoil the beginning of this episode, and it's where Homelander and what's her name? Stormfront are stopping this, basically like a purse snatcher, like a burglar, in an alleyway. And he's begging for his life in this alleyway because he's caught, you know, and he's begging that they leave him alone. And Homelander has his hand on his head. And then Stormfront is talking to him and like kind of talking him up and caressing him in ways. And he gets so worked up over it, he just crushes the man's head up against the wall. Just explodes his head up against the wall because he's of these things that are happening. And I just sit there like she's talking to him like a little, like a boy, basically, like, and talking him up, giving him props about everything that he does, how great he is, you know, because he's Homelander, but also touching him, and he crushes a man's head. And it's just, these are the things that you will see in the show. Not necessarily good things. It's not like something I've asked for ever in my life, because I haven't.
Right.
But it is fun. It's fun to watch because you don't know what's going to happen next with these crazy, weird superheroes. And one really good thing about this year is that I wasn't a huge A-Train fan last season. He's very minimal in this season, and the main character that isn't a superhero. What's his name? Petey? Petey Pablo?
Dennis Quaid's son.
Yes.
That's what I call him.
Dennis Quaid's son.
Yeah.
Yes, that guy isn't as big of a deal in this season as well.
Right.
And that, honestly, is for the better. I didn't think he was bad by any means. It's just somewhat boring when you have all of these superheroes that are doing crazy crap, and then you have this guy that's just sad that his girlfriend died.
Yeah.
You know, and then has this weird relationship with Starlight.
Ryan Fry chimes in. Eric Kripke, who's the guy that he's the showrunner.
Yeah.
And I think he's a writer too.
Okay.
He helps direct The Boys, or director, I guess. Fun fact, he also directed the Supernatural series.
All of it?
All of it. Well, I don't know about all of it, but
he directed a lot of episodes.
One of our guests that we've had on a couple times, Alex,
Big Supernatural
Huge
fan.
Supernatural fan. He's been on a deep dive. There's like 20 seasons of that shit.
This is the last one though. It ended. It's
It is?
Supernatural is over now. I think it's all over, or they still have to film the last season. One of the two.
Kurg Blagojevich says, I'm on vacation and I'm still watching you. That's awesome. Where are you on vacation?
Yeah,
Greg?
tell us where you're on vacation at. I would like to know so that we can come
Yeah.
to your vacation spot.
And then David Seedentop says, you guys should offer the Bill Belichick style hoodies with cutoff sleeves. I agree.
I think that's a really good idea.
It's a great idea. We need to get the shit gray speckled ones though. Like
Of course, the ones that look
not
like
shit gray. I don't know why I called it shit gray. But
I've never shat.
just
gray.
like the cheap looking like speckled gray ones.
Yeah, the ones that look like you've lived at home with your mom and you're 38.
Yeah.
And you yell from the basement like, "More meatloaf!"
Or you're like a
Mom,
60-year-old
Where's
head
my
football coach.
Where's my meatloaf?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
that?
those.
Yeah.
So yes, The Boys, must watch. Start watching it if you haven't seen it. It goes fast. There's not a lot of episodes per season. It's only like 8 or 10 episodes per season. I
Yeah.
think,
So episode 7 is coming
I
out.
really like
tomorrow,
Carl Urban. Mm-hmm. He's great.
He's very good.
Yeah,
He is Butcher
but I mean,
in the show.
the most sadistic, awful character that has ever existed is Homelander.
Is Homelander, yeah.
But that actor is so good.
He is this sadistic in real life.
Yeah,
He drinks breast milk in real life.
really.
Yeah, that's what they said.
I saw something. It was a fan mock-up of him playing Wolverine, and it looked amazing.
Really?
This was a fan thing.
Right. They must have made him over because
I'm going to tell you, it looked amazing.
looking at him as Homelander
Well, obviously.
doesn't.
No, but they
seem-
gave him like the chops and stuck him out. He looked great in it. That guy could be anything. He's Craig is in Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. Yes, where the right village through. I've been there. I love Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, and the whole like Outer Banks region of North Carolina.
Outer Banks is very good. We have a lot of fans in North Carolina.
We do.
We have quite a few of them that are in our coloring contest right now. I don't know if you know this, Chris, but we have a coloring contest that is active.
Quick update on that. We've been getting messages that people apparently still haven't received them,
A couple people.
and it's been over 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So the United States Postal Service
Needs to speed it up a
not
little
doing
bit.
a great job here.
guys.
So there's a small chance that we might have to postpone the results till after our 100th episode because it's not fair to those people.
No, it really isn't fair to them. As of right now, you still do have 4 full weeks to get it in, like 4.5 weeks, really, to get it into us. But if we don't, if you don't get it for another couple weeks or whatever, I know you said you were going to resend one to one of the contestants. If that is the case, yes, we may postpone it to 101, 102, whatever we have to do. But yeah, we do have an active coloring contest. We'll still give you a poster if you want to do it. We can email it to you.
Yeah.
And then you just email it back to us.
Yeah.
With a finished copy of it, and then we select from there.
When I was in North Carolina, we stayed in this little strip motel that was a ways up from the shoreline, but it wasn't a beachy area. It was a fishing area.
Okay.
And we went out on a fishing trip with a guy named Captain Eddie. Captain Eddie.
Captain Eddie. Yeah.
He's still working, by the way. This was when I was a little kid.
How old is he now?
Got to be old. Got to be really old.
You think so?
But we did the blue crab traps. I caught a shark, a little shark. My
real
sister caught these big
live
fish.
shark?
I think they were called kingfish or something like that. And we ate a lot of mussels, and it was amazing. I love
I'm not a big mussel fan.
Oh, well, you're not American. All right.
I think
Moving on. The next thing I've been watching, we're not going to dwell on this because, oddly enough, the live thing, I think, changes my idea of what content I want to be talking about.
Oh, really?
Okay? Because there is a show, just because we have kids, and I know a lot of our listeners have kids. So sometimes I like to comment about kid shows
Yeah.
because a lot of them are terrible.
Oh, the majority.
But some of them I can tolerate, so I wanted to point this one out that I can tolerate. But I don't want to spend a lot of time on it because I feel like people watching on Facebook don't want to listen.
They're
to us
like,
talk
who
about kid
cares?
shows.
Who cares,
Who
Chris?
cares about your kid shows? Get out of here.
How you wearing khakis? Huh? Put your khakis away. Huh? Who cares? All right, go ahead.
There is one particular kids show on Netflix that I'm like, anytime the kids are watching it, I get sucked into
I
it.
bet you I know what it is.
It's called Worst Witch.
Oh no, I did not know that at all.
And
I thought you were going to talk about the Jurassic Park show.
No, that's good too.
Pretty
but
good.
This one is called Worst Witch, and it's basically a complete ripoff of Harry Potter.
Really?
It's about
That's why you like
all
it so
these
much.
girls in like a witch school. Mm-hmm. It's exactly like Harry Potter. I don't even know how they're doing this and not getting sued by J.K. Rowling's or whatever.
She would do it.
But it's a good show. It's really good. I get sucked into it.
Is it? It's an episode, like
Yeah,
episodic show.
Yeah,
and it's with young kids that are going to a wizardry school.
Yeah.
Or I guess it'd be a witch school.
Yeah, it's an all-girls school. They're a witch school. It's a great show.
Interesting. So there's
Your kids will like it.
There's no warlocks.
Cash loves it. There are some warlocks. Yeah.
There are.
Yeah.
But you said it's all girls.
It's a girls' school, but there's male professors.
Oh, I gotcha.
And there's boys' schools.
And they just teach them like potions and broom riding.
Yep. It's just like Harry Potter.
Interesting.
But it's really good and I enjoy it.
Cool. What are the age of kids? Like, is it?
They're like preteens,
Okay.
like 10 to 13.
Yeah. And you like it?
It's a good show for a kid's show. I mean, it's not like I would watch it in my free time, but if the kids have to be watching something, this is a show that I can watch and not hate myself.
Grady was turning on The Big Show. Have you seen any of that?
No.
Like with the wrestler, you know how there was the wrestler, The Big Show? He has his own like family show on Netflix, and it's called The Big Show. It is one of the single worst acted shows I've ever seen in my life.
I don't know why you would expect any different.
Well, I never expected anything from it because I never thought I would have to have it in front of my eyeballs. And Grady had it on, and I just could hear it in the background. I turn and look at it. It's just absolutely terrible. And it almost infuriated me that he was even watching the show. But I let it go and just went in a different room because it was annoying.
All right, what else have you been watching?
I finished the show Away. I had talked about it a few times before. It's a space drama with Hilary
Swank.
Hilary Swank's the
$1
main
Million
character.
Baby.
And she's the commander of this
What are the
space
odds
mission
that
to
she'd
go
fall
to
on hit her
Mars.
head on a stool?
At 1%.
I mean, insane.
Yeah, it is pretty insane. She's dead.
She died.
Yeah,
Straight up. That movie is insane
it is insane. It won an Oscar
for her dying. And she died in real life.
in
too.
real life, and then they brought her back just for this Mars trip.
Yeah.
And she's the commander.
Yeah. CGI'd 100%.
Yeah, and she's good in it. The drama is fine. It is nothing that is stand out. I think it's shot very well, and the space scenes and everything look amazing. I think it's, if you're looking for a show to watch and have absolutely nothing else to select from, you've already seen all of The Boys and everything else we tell you to watch.
Yeah.
If you've seen all of that, then yes, go and watch Away because it's a good show.
I have a,
but
the
it's,
way you feel about Yellowstone, I feel about Away. Like every time I go to look at it, I'm just like,
yeah,
I'm gonna do it.
and it's not. I don't think you would really enjoy it that much. I really don't. I did enjoy it. It's just, it was more of a, it's a time filler type show, right? If you have nothing else to do and you just need to waste time, you can watch that show. I got like 3
I don't got
episodes.
time to waste, man.
I know. I got like 3 episodes in, and then I felt committed to it. I was like, well, I think there's only 8 episodes in it anyways. I might as well finish it out now. So I did. It took me a little while. But it's fine. I mean, I didn't think there was anything wrong with it, and I don't regret watching it.
Cool.
I doubt they will have anything else from it, though. I think it got really good ratings. I just don't see them bringing it back.
Yeah.
They should. I mean, they obviously haven't completed everything that they needed to do. They like literally just got to Mars, so there's a whole big story that they have. But I doubt they're going to put it back on because I don't think it was going to make that much money.
David Seatentop says $100 Baby is a top 10 episode of It's Always Sunny, but I've never seen $1 Million Baby. You should see $1 Million Baby.
You really should
because
watch
it is a
$1 Million
freaking
Baby.
amazing movie. with a really depressing ending.
Oh, terrible. Because she dies.
She
Everyone in the whole place dies.
Spoiler.
All of them die
A guy comes in,
with a coronavirus gun.
yeah, and he shoots them in the face with coronavirus, and they immediately die
But she hit a stool.
of COVID-19.
She was going to survive because she's got $1 million blood,
Yeah.
which is an antibody. Everybody knows that's an antibody.
Well, it's because she's a baby.
with $1 million blood.
So she has really good antibodies because doesn't have any like cellular, breakdown.
Defamation.
Yeah, because she's a baby.
Yeah. And the only reason she did die is the stool.
Yeah, that stool, that COVID stool.
Yeah.
It was actually a stool constructed of COVID-19 viruses.
I was hoping it was pine. It's a lot softer wood, but COVID and red oak
Doesn't mix.
makes really hard petrified wood.
Yeah.
Like the petrified forest.
So the only other thing I've been watching is the debate.
The presidential debate.
Talk a lot about. Except we're
absolutely
out of time, and it's time to talk about our top 10 Nic Cage movies.
Everybody knows that the presidential debate was a complete shit show, and if you don't know that,
I don't think it was that as bad as everybody makes it out to be.
it was very hard to watch.
It was very hard to watch. I will agree with that. But also, she fought Clint Eastwood and was killed in the fight. That's Craig.
Yeah, I mean, Clint Eastwood
Basically.
would kill her.
I mean, every time he punched, his brittle bones just like powdered.
He said, "Get off my ring."
I got a stool for you.
Hey, dragon lady. Anyway.
Yes, it was hard to watch. Yes, but the whole they're not acting presidential thing, it didn't bother me. It was annoying that they kept talking over each other.
Yeah, I didn't necessarily they were actively trying to attack each other in a way that was so childish. It was like high school drama.
Yeah,
right?
but that didn't bother me.
I thought that was really. What is the point? What are you getting out of this?
Well,
what
that's
do you
my
think,
only issue with it. There was not a lot of substance.
No, what do you think this is going? What are you going to gain from what you're doing right now on this debate?
As a complete independent coming at it, which literally, I mean, I'm probably voting for the third party candidate anyway. I don't have a hand in promoting anybody.
Yeah.
It seemed to me, as an outside observer, that Trump came across a lot more like common sense on a lot of stuff, or more like non-political.
I agree.
Which was in my opinion, probably a win for him. Coming across when Biden starts talking in completely political terms and just kind of jabbering platitudes.
Well, I think
And
that's
then he
the
comes up and like, that's not what happened. What are you talking? This isn't how it's working. It just came across a lot more like, let's get down to actual, I don't know.
I agree with you. I feel like the problem with politics right now is that each party is supposed to be a certain thing.
Yeah, it's identity politics, right?
And then, yes, that's what it is. It's like they have to have this certain identity. They have to stand for these certain things. Otherwise, you're not a Democrat or you're not a conservative, right?
I don't feel like Trump's that way, though, necessarily.
Well, and that's what I was going to get to. So Biden specifically fits that mold. He is going to live by and preach exactly what the Democratic Party has to preach, right? He has to fit that mold
Well, that's
and
not
have
what he
that
said in the debate.
Have that identity. But then Trump is his own thing. I mean,
I'm looking forward to more debates, personally.
I absolutely am.
I thought it was entertaining.
But I don't think Trump fits that mold where he's like the conservative that they would put up, like the right-wing person that they would put up.
I don't think so. I don't think
Honestly.
either one of them won. I don't think either one of them lost. I think it was just kind of like everybody just kind of ignored it.
After it happened, yeah, everybody just realized it was... I think they got it out of their system.
Hopefully.
I'm hoping.
Hopefully. I think that maybe the next one will be better.
That's what I'm hoping for, that where they can actually let each other speak. That was my only thing. It's like people have complained about us before speaking over each other. I think that's what they did too much of,
Yeah.
is speaking over each other. And I can understand where that can be
Honestly,
a problem.
I think
And I thought it was a problem.
I think it was because of the structure. It didn't make a lot of sense.
Well, their structure is terrible anyways. That's why I always wanted to be on Joe Rogan.
It's never going to happen.
It will never happen, but I think it's a way better platform to do. Like, have 4 hours dedicated that you can let each other talk.
I just want them to talk about their specific plans, but that's never how debates go. And I don't think either of them have any specific plans or policies or anything like that.
It doesn't matter at this point.
I mean, it's Biden attacking Trump and Trump trying to defend himself.
Yes.
That's basically it.
I saw a meme the other day that said, like, I can't wait for a world or a presidential election where we are fighting over who's better rather than fighting over who's worse. Because that's what most people are arguing about now, is like Trump's worse than Biden or Biden's worse than Trump.
I think that's that is all of this.
That's the mindset.
Overly dramatic.
Yeah.
I think everybody reacts in an overly dramatic way. Everybody criticizes in an overly dramatic way. All of this is too over dramatic. Chill out, people. That's my only thing. It's like, stop being over dramatic. Just let it be what it's gonna be. Understand that it's not that important in the grand scheme of things. You think it's the end of the world that this judge is going to get confirmed. Doesn't matter, because it's going to happen anyway. A. B. By all accounts, listen.
She seems very smart.
Everybody loves her. You know what I mean?
It sounds like she's widely loved.
And very
especially
well qualified.
Notre Dame, she's gotten like the best teachers or like professor awards. Like, everybody across the country likes her.
That was the thing. That was the thing. That, like, one of the things in
person.
the debate that I felt, Trump was good at when he was talking about that. He's like, I don't know what you're saying. I mean, if you guys were in power, you'd be doing the exact same thing. Truth. They would be.
Yeah.
All right. So there's that. And then also, he's bringing up Roe v. Wade. Mm-hmm. And Trump's like, do you know that she wants to overturn? She's never said that. That's never going to happen. It's never going to happen.
Why is that? So
people
even
on the
question?
left and people on the right both need to realize that the Supreme Court works off something called precedent. Okay?
Yeah.
They're not going to overturn that. That has been decided. It's not going to be overturned. Period.
This is again, I think, born from random comments on social media. People just post whatever they want on social media, and then there are a group of others that will run with that. And then it just gets bigger and bigger, like a cancer.
Yeah.
And everyone believes it. This is what happens now.
Yeah.
This is our life.
And it's been that way for a long time.
It has, but I mean, media organizations will push certain things, and then people on Facebook will push other things. I mean, there are people in my family that are just so hardcore over the top on either direction, either side of things.
I think everybody's got that.
And it's just so annoying. I don't care.
I don't care either. I do and I don't.
Right.
So I have opinions. I like to believe that I'm open-minded, for the most part.
You're not. Very close-minded person.
So that's it for that. We'll probably talk about. I think we're probably gonna talk about politics a little bit more going into this election.
I guess
we are, but
it's just because it's so
we're at the 1 hour mark,
prominent.
and it's time to do top 10 lists, Jerry.
Yes,
we're in a top 10 world. I'm a top 10 girl.
Yes,
you
are
top
too.
10 girl in a top 10 world. Imagination.
It's a plantation.
Do you know?
No, we can't say that.
Do you know who sang that song?
Oh shoot, I do. Give
Just
me
Facebook. No, I know, but just for the win, right now, if anybody on Facebook can tell me who sang "I'm a Barbie Girl" without looking it up,
They're German.
You're gonna win a special surprise.
Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
Oh yeah.
I'm the bald guy in the video.
So I'm gonna leave that question open to you guys. I know the answer.
Chumbawamba.
It's not. You will win a prize if you can tell me who wins I'm a Barbie girl without looking it up on the honor system.
Right. Absolutely. Can't look it up. I'm not going to look it up.
And then you have to record yourself singing the entire song and post it to our Facebook page.
Yeah. Now.
Not now, but just sometime in the next
all right.
5 hours.
Okay. Deal.
All right. Top 10
Nicolas Cage movies.
Now, there's a couple caveats that we set when we talked about before this.
I always get nervous before top 10s.
Yeah. Oh, Craig got it. Aqua.
Aqua. Yeah, he's right.
All right. Well,
Did you cheat, Craig?
We owe Craig stuff anyway.
We really do, don't we?
We owe him things. Craig, we owe you things. Because he was the winner of Snarf Madness 2020.
Mm-hmm.
First and second place.
Yeah.
And Ian got his stuff.
He got his stuff already, yeah.
Why did he say fuck that? I don't understand.
I'm not sure.
Oh, about recording himself singing it.
Oh.
He should.
No, you
He'd
could
be
still
great at it.
absolutely do that. Yeah.
All right. Nick Cage movies, top 10. The only caveat I had is he had to have a starring role in it. So if we had discussed, it was brought up into the Spider-Verse, he does play what is that role?
He
Black
is
Noir Spider-Man?
It's not Black Noir.
Or
It is Noir
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. But
and he has a fairly sizable, chunky role, but he's by no means
very
a
big,
main character.
But he's not. And I agree. He was a main character in a animated movie called The Croods.
Yeah, so that would count.
I like that movie.
But I'm not counting into the Spider-Verse. So he has to have a starring role in the movie. That's really the only main thing I got. I just told you to get me one, and you didn't get me one.
You did?
I pointed at it several times. Guys, this is what I did. I pointed incessantly. I even tapped the top of my my can, and then he just refused straight up to get me it.
Yeah. I don't pay attention to you.
All right, so we're going to go right down the list. Now, my other caveat to this is not a caveat, but a lot of these movies I have not seen in a long time. So
Agreed.
usually we're very in-depth in our descriptions and why we picked it. These are movies that most of them I own. I enjoy. I have a fond place for them, but I might not remember the specifics and the ins and outs of exactly all the details of them.
Yeah, so I brought up IMDb pages about a lot of these movies because I just haven't seen them in so long.
Yeah. So we want to start off the bat right now. Number 10. Top
10.
10 Nick Cage movies. Sorry, David Timmons. We will compensate you with
A thumbs
2
up.
episodes of your choice. How about that? But it was specifically requested by Mr. Kevin Seatop, and he is a Duke.
He's a Duke.
We can't deny a Duke.
If you know anything about Dukedom,
If you want to,
you will not deny
If
them.
you wanted to trump him,
Ugh.
no pun intended, you'd
No.
have to become a Duke or better.
If you want to Trump/Biden him,
Yeah.
you have to say that.
Right now, you're Bidening him.
Yeah, you're Bidening him.
But if you want to trump him, you got to do better than Duke. Mm-hmm. He's a Duke. He outranks you.
Truth. You're speaking the truth.
What is David? He's a lord?
I think so.
A knight. He's a Snarf knight, right?
He is a knight. Yeah.
knight.
So therefore, you have to listen to us on what go fight someone.
Yes.
Go take down this other knight.
Or the Duke, like trying to overthrow a Duke.
Overthrow a duke, and then you can become the duke of that land.
Yeah, you get a dukedom.
But
We'll Duke you. We'll Duke you
I'll
right
duke
now.
anybody. I'll duke you right now.
We got listeners on here. I will say right now, like Dan Baker, I'll Duke you.
Yeah. Bring it on, Dan. You want to be duked?
All right. My number 10 is a little Martin Scorsese movie called Bringing Out the Dead.
I don't know. I haven't seen that one.
You never saw that movie?
No.
I loved that movie when it came out, and I don't know
Martin Scorsese, huh?
why it hit me. It's a really depressing movie with John Goodman, Nick Cage, Patricia Arquette. It's a Martin Scorsese movie. Came out in 1999. It's like a supernatural drama. Nick Cage plays a EMT paramedic in the city
Okay.
on the night shift. Super depressed,
Bad shift.
not sleeping, graveyard shift. And he starts seeing the ghosts of the people that he couldn't save on the job.
That is weird.
And he's kind of descending into madness, I guess.
Which is what Nick Cage does.
He does it very well. This is a very perfect Nick Cage role. Very manic.
Every role
frantic.
is a perfect Nic Cage role.
Just always
He
looks
makes
beat
it.
up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just always loved this movie. Whenever it came out, I owned it. I own it. I don't know why. I think I was a part of my life, maybe in high school, or maybe it was. I probably didn't see it in '99. I probably saw it like later when I was later in high school or in college. I was probably just trying to be real artsy fartsy.
Yeah, that sounds like you.
But it's a Scorsese film.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
All right.
That is my.
What was it called?
It was the final film ever to be released on Laserdisc.
Really?
Yep.
Holy cow. That's kind of historic.
That is monumental, right? Yeah. Did you ever own a Laserdisc?
I don't know if I did. Maybe my parents did.
We never had a Laserdisc or a Laserdisc player.
I don't think so.
That's my number 10. What's your number 10, Gerald?
My number 10 is probably not going to be on most people's lists because they're not. This could go on one of my top 10 war movies. It's a 2002 film, John Woo.
I know what it is.
The Wind Talkers.
Yeah.
I loved it. I watched it multiple times growing up because I loved any World War II movie that came out. I was obsessed with it.
I thought it was the Korean War.
No, it's World War II. So the Wind Talkers were, it is about, and this is true, the Navajo Indians.
I was going to say Native Americans, right?
Yeah, so obviously the U.S. Had Navajo Indians that were part of the Marine Corps and in the Army and whatnot. And they created a legitimate code out of their language because it's only in the United States. The Navajo language is very specific to our country. Nobody else around the world knew it at all. So they called them code talkers, basically. And they built a code for the United States that they could talk over the radio and people would know what they're saying, But then obviously Germans and Italy and whatnot couldn't break the code. Japan couldn't break the code. This movie is about Nicolas Cage is a soldier that had been injured in the fight and should have basically been sent home, but was kind of reassigned to protect two of the code talkers. And him and another guy, what was his name? His name is Adam Beach. You've seen him in a bunch of stuff, but he's one of the Navajo code talkers. His name in the movie was Ben Yazi. Nicolas Cage was Joe Enders, but he had to basically protect the code talker. At the beginning, he didn't want anything to do with him. They didn't like each other, but obviously by the end of it, they get a pretty substantial bond because they go through a bunch of crazy stuff. For a war movie, it is very good. It lacks a bit of substance because it's just a basic war movie.
If my remembering of this movie is that it was the action scenes were incredible,
very good, yeah,
but the story was kind of weak.
Yes, and honestly, it was kind of weak about the code talkers.
And John Woo is an action movie director.
He is.
So I think it's a good pick. I didn't have it.
I have to have a war movie. If he's in a war movie, I'm gonna pick it.
And that's our next top 10, guys. Is top 10 war movies, and I'm excited because there's a lot of war movies. I'm
gonna have to
I'm a professional war movie critic.
By the way, I'm gonna have
to
get into that one
because when I was in college, I took a film studies class that was war movies from 1920 to present.
Wow.
Where we dissected all these different war movies, and every single week I had to write a 10-page paper on a different movie. 10-page paper every week. I thought it was going to be a blow-off class. It was my hardest class that semester. Not hard because it was difficult, but it's a lot of work.
Just the amount of work you had to do, yeah.
And I enjoyed it. I loved it, but it was a very difficult class. And it exposed me to all these movies, these war movies, like these 50s and 60s movies that I had never seen.
Sure.
Like Mrs. Miniver. Love that movie. And we'll talk about it in the top 10 war movies.
Okay.
My number 9 is probably one that not a lot of people would have on their list either. It's a black comedy.
Okay.
It was directed by Sir Ridley Scott.
Sir Ridley Scott.
And it is Matchstick Men.
Oh. I enjoy that movie.
You got it on your list?
I do.
It has Sam Rockwell in it, and
anything. If you put Sam Rockwell and Nicolas Cage together,
perfect.
You have a winning combination. I
Moon,
love
Sam Rockwell and Moon. Amazing.
Oh, if you've never seen the movie Moon, go out and watch it right now. He's basically the only actor in the entire movie.
I think he is.
Except for they the guy who's basically blackballed now. Kevin Spacey is the voice of.
I can't say that name.
Oh, I'm sorry. Shmevin Shmeishi.
Yeah.
It is a voice of a like computer
Yeah.
system, but
But this is not a Sam Rockwell list.
it's
This is
not.
a
But
Nicolas Cage movie.
I love that.
And Nicolas Cage, in true Nicolas Cage fashion, in 3 respects, playing a con artist
Yes,
with Tourette syndrome and OCD.
and OCD.
It
and
is
then
like
has
built,
to
this
deal-
movie was made for Nic Cage.
has to deal with his daughter.
Yeah, he gets together with his like long lost daughter, and they're like pulling long cons.
Yes.
And there's twists and turns, and it's just a fun. It's got funny moments. It's got serious moments. It's a great movie overall, and I don't think it gets enough praise.
I completely agree, and I had
Another one which I own and was in like my routine staple of movies through college that I would watch was this one.
I think this movie was brought up to me by Pagoda. I think Pagoda was the first one that told me I needed to watch Matchstick Men. It was either Pagoda or David Simmons. One of those two people told me about this movie, and I went and watched it and fell in love with it immediately. It is very good.
That's my number 9. Your number 9.
So my number 9, I don't know. Some people have this very high on their list. Other people hate it. But I think it's a widely, like, I don't know. I think critics like it. And it is called Adaptation.
Oh yeah.
So it's not one of my favorites, but it is a very good movie. I mean, it's number 9 for me. And I think it's an interesting movie because it's about a screenwriter, Charlie Kaufman. It's like he's in the middle of making a movie, but then has to adapt another movie.
He's making being John Malkovich.
Yeah, being
He's
John-
writing being John Malkovich.
Yes, something like that.
It's
Or
about-
in production of it.
It's about him, Charlie Kaufman,
yes, trying to adapt a book.
writing being John Malkovich. Basically, that's what the movie's about.
No, he's in production of it, but he's also supposed to be adapting a book into a screenplay. It's something Orchid. Hang on, I got
Yes, though. Yeah. Okay. We're gonna talk about this movie later.
The Orchid Thief.
Yes.
And he's trying to adapt that nonfiction book for the screen. And it's about him, like, basically just being torn apart by doing that.
Yeah.
Like, he's insane over it. It is very good. I should have probably had it higher. I do kind of feel bad the more I talk about it that I have it this low on my list, but I don't know. It's kind of polarizing. Some people hate it. Some people love it.
Well, we're going to talk about it later. But right now, we're going to talk about my number 8,
Okay.
which is I struggled with. There's a lot of movies. First of all, there's a lot of crap Nicolas Cage movies.
Yes.
But there was a lot that I had to choose from, so it's difficult. And I wanted to throw this one in because I love this movie, although I don't think he's not the major face of the movie, probably. Definitely not. I mean, he probably sold the movie with his name,
Right.
but it is Kick-Ass.
He's not the main character. This
Yeah.
was your rule.
But he's on the poster. I mean, his name
He
is right up
is.
there.
And his face, I think, is too, with his cowl on.
Yes. So, and he has a significant role in it.
I didn't put that in here because I didn't think it was going to make the
I
cut.
put it in. It's a great superhero movie. It's a mediocre to great superhero movie.
I like it a lot.
I like the movie a lot. I love Hit Girl, and there's a lot more coming with her. There's a show coming out that's just about her.
Oh, there is?
Yeah, Kevin Smith is writing, directing.
Yes, I didn't realize
And
this.
she's been in a lot of comics. I never was a huge fan of the main character himself.
Sure.
But I loved Nicolas Cage in it, and I loved Chloe, whatever her name is, Hit Girl.
Yeah.
And I liked the take of the movie, and I love Mark Millar. And
Of course. Mark
John-
Millar's an amazing writer.
And so it's based on, obviously, a Marvel comic, and it was directed by Matthew Vaughn, who's an incredible filmmaker. He produced it with Brad Pitt, by the way. Anyway, I'm sure all you guys have seen Kick-Ass. I liked both of them. I actually like the second one better, I think.
Yeah, I do too. I really do.
So I put that on my number 8 just to give some love for that movie, although there's probably better Nicolas Cage movies I could put on my list. But
Well, here's one that's going to be the same for my number 8. I think other people might pander me for this. And it's a very fun, like Race to Witch Mountain type movie.
Is it Race to Witch Mountain?
No,
that's The Rock.
It's National Treasure.
Oh, okay.
I love National Treasure. I love every National Treasure I've ever watched. Is there 3 of them?
I think
just
there's just 2.
I think they are making another one though. It's going into production. It's going to happen. It's already been written. They just need to put it in production. I think they're very fun. They're funny.
I love them.
They're fun to watch. It's not a normal Nic Cage movie, but I can't say anything bad about it. Sure, it's not like deep by any means, but we've got to save the Declaration of Independence. Like, this is from bad guys. It's just so fun, and they're just running around.
I love them.
It's
Seriously.
like a modern day Indiana Jones.
It's like a less good Indiana Jones that you can sit down with your whole family. Everybody's going to enjoy it.
Right.
They're great movies. I love them.
It's very fun, and it's my number 8.
My number 7. A lot of people would have higher. I'm not going to lie, but there's a lot of good Nic Cage movies, so I got it at number 7. It's Gone in 60 Seconds.
Okay, yeah.
And this movie, I can't even explain how big this movie was when it came out. It was in 2000. It was like huge. Right when I was in middle of my high school time. Huge. It was a huge movie. It was very quotable.
Yeah. And the whole like shaking your fingers thing that he does, like people were doing that.
Giovanni Ribisi's in it. Angelina Jolie's in it. Robert Duvall.
I remember going to see this in theaters in Morris. I'm pretty sure David went with me and Dave Hammond, and his mom took us to go see it. Like, I think we were in 8th grade. We had to have been 2000. I was in 8th grade. So, yeah, this was a big deal.
Yeah.
For all of us.
Jerry Bruckheimer movie, like every single movie of that era.
Yeah, I mean, he was involved with every movie.
What can I say about it? Everybody knows the movie. It's an immensely entertaining movie, if not shallow, but still immensely entertaining.
Yeah, it is. He's a car thief, stealing cars. What's the name of the...
Eleanor.
Eleanor is the Mustang, right?
It's a Shelby GT500.
Shelby, but Mustang.
It's a Mustang, right?
Shelby broke off into its own company, but it is a Shelby Mustang.
It's a GT500 Mustang is what it was.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So this is my number 7 we're on, and I have it as the 2003 film that Ridley Scott directed called Matchstick Men.
Nice.
We have talked about it once before. Sam Rockwell's in it. He is... Nicolas Cage plays Roy Waller. Is his name, and he is insane.
It's a very good Nicolas Cage name. It
is a perfect Nicolas Cage movie for everything that he has to become and do, and the way he acts. I mean, this is I think the time where he started to create the really weird, insane type Nicolas Cage, like I don't want to say actor, character. Like everything before this, he did do weird things.
Vampire's Kiss might have done that.
Well, that's true too.
A, B, C, D.
Yeah, we already talked about
it.
I think so too. You're right. But everything from after this on, though, it's just really weird people.
Yeah.
It's very good, though. If you've never seen Matchstick Men, go out and watch it. It's great. Or stay in and watch it. You can stream it. You can stream everything. You don't have to go anywhere.
My number 6... Jerry, is a 2005 movie.
Okay. 2005.
Very big at the time. It's called Lord of War.
You know, I like this movie.
I love this movie. I love the cinematography and
yeah, it is very good.
And how it looks. I don't know. I really, really, really like this movie. A lot of scenes stick out in this movie, and I think about them all the time. He's an illegal arms dealer. He's going across country or the world, hooking up with horrible dictators and making terrible arms deals, and then being backed by the United States government. It's a whole thing. Great movie.
Mm-hmm.
Highly recommend anybody watch it. It's just it's a good movie.
I agree. It didn't make my top 10.
It's also one of those I don't know, like specifically
spoiler.
can't think of like every single detail of it, but Jared Leto's in it.
Jared Leto?
Yeah, Jared Leto.
The Jared Leto?
Yeah.
The Joker himself?
Yeah. Ethan Hawke.
The Joker.
Yeah, the Joker. So anyway, Lord of War, that's my number 6.
My number 6 is a very recent movie. Came out in 2018. I don't know if a lot of people saw this.
2018?
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I know. I didn't think you would.
Tiger King? No.
It's considered a horror movie. I don't think it's that horror-ish, to be honest. David Simmons told me to watch this. He told me it's an incredible film, and that Nicolas Cage acted like his ass off for this. I went and watched it. I was kind of against it, and then I just went and watched it one night, and it's intense. It's a very intense graphic movie called Mandy.
Oh, I've heard of this. I've not seen it.
Wow. The movie itself is strange, but a lot of blood, a lot of gore, and killing involved. But I'll tell you what, I think it's one of the best Nicolas Cage performances you can find, to be honest. Like the actual acting and stuff involved with this movie, I think he is incredible for Nicolas Cage. So he's him and it's a couple, him and his wife or girlfriend. I can't remember if he's married. They're in the woods. They live in this like secluded woods, and this hippie cult finds them, and they've got like these demon henchmen, like biker henchmen that come and basically just wreak havoc on them. And I don't want to give too much away, but they come in and like start wreaking havoc through the woods, and he has to have some sort of vengeance to come back and start murdering people and saving Mandy. And it's intense, it's weird, but it's awesome. It's very good. It's got an 83 Metascore, which I think is pretty good.
Really?
Yeah, critics loved it.
I saw it come out at the time, and I think it came out direct to streaming, didn't it?
I think so, yes.
Yeah. And I've been wanting to see it.
It's got a 6.5 score on IMDb, which is kind of low, but Metascore is 83. I haven't checked Rotten Tomatoes, but a lot of people love it.
Yeah.
And yeah. Takes place in 1983. Red is a lumberjack who lives in a secluded cabin in the woods.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, it's his girlfriend, Mandy. I didn't think they were married. Anyway.
All right, now we're into the top 5. We're into the big
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
We're into
the top 5.
We're into the weeds here.
Holy crap.
All right, guys. My number 5 it's an incredible movie. It's one that you don't go back and watch very often.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's so hopelessly depressing.
Oh.
But it's Leaving Las Vegas.
Leaving Las Vegas. Is in your top 5?
Absolutely. This movie's incredible.
It's pretty good.
It's a really good movie. But it's not one of those movies it's not as entertaining as Face Off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it is a really quality movie. Like, I believe it won awards. It might even have won an Oscar. I think Nic Cage might have won an Oscar for it.
I don't know if has he won Oscars?
I think so. I'll look that up real quick. Yeah, Best Actor, Nicolas Cage, Academy Award. Best Actress, Elizabeth Shue, Academy Award.
Wow.
Best Director, Best Adapted Screenplay. It was nominated, didn't win. He won a Golden Globe as well for it. So it was a big deal.
Okay.
For his career. But it is also an extremely good movie. It's he goes to Las Vegas to drink himself to death.
Yeah.
And then kind of gets entangled into the life of this prostitute, Elizabeth Shue. And it's basically just a depression movie of him trying to drink himself to death.
Absolutely.
And her trying to love him.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
That sounds great.
And
it is good.
But
it's
extremely good. It's somehow it works, and you can't stop watching it.
Nicolas Cage has a very good way of transforming himself into that character. Even though like people think he's like very one note, a lot of people think.
Who thinks that? He's the most versatile actor that has to exist.
I think a lot of people think that
They're
Nicolas
crazy.
Cage
They
is like
don't know.
typecasted.
They don't know his career then.
Yeah, maybe I'm
mean-
just guessing, but I think he's thought of that way. It's very typecasted.
I would think that Nicolas Cage is probably the most versatile actor that's working today,
Yeah.
as far as
of.
being able to do anything
You know who else
and
I think
being
is?
like a non-traditional leading man.
Jim Carrey.
Yeah, but
I think he is.
He's not at the level of Nic Cage.
I think he can be. Have you ever seen
Sonic the Hedgehog. He's really good in it.
Sonic the Hedgehog? Yeah.
It's a good movie.
It is a good movie, but it's nothing close to what's the movie? Something Spotless
Eternal
Mind.
Sunshine of the
of the
Spotless
Spot-
Mind. Love that movie.
Yes. That level of acting is very good.
All right, you're number 5.
My number 5 is the one you just commented on, not Leaving Las Vegas, but Face Off.
Face Off, yes.
This movie is so outlandish and weird, and it's one of the movies you think of as for Nicolas Cage that's kind of like A Vampire's Kiss, where he's just like way over the top, extreme. He has a face
This is
transplant.
like a quintessential 90s action movie.
1997, him and John Travolta, old Johnny
Johnny T,
Johnny Trav is what I called him.
a Scientologist.
And I can't remember who was the criminal mastermind and who was the FBI agent.
Nic Cage was the good guy. John Travolta was the bad guy.
Yes, but then they swapped
switched.
faces, and Nicolas Cage got to act like the insane
Yeah.
bad guy, and John Travolta gets to act like the good guy.
Yes.
Yes, now I remember it all. It's
So,
insane.
You know what? I didn't put it on my list. I'm going to, not a spoiler, a spoiler, I
You
guess.
didn't?
It's only because I don't remember that movie that well.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I remember watching it and it just being kind of a generic action movie to me.
It is very generic. It's, again, I have one of these in every one of them.
And he's got such a great career. It's hard for me to.
I have about 3 of them in this top 5 where it's like a very nostalgic pick because I watched it in the 90s. I remember it as a child, and I remember being allowed to watch a rated R movie for some unknown reason because I saw it early, like right after it came out. It had to have been within a year because it didn't like VHSs come out like a year later back in the day.
Scott Hunt said, "Is Abercrombie paying Jerry to wear that on this live stream?"
Yeah. Yes.
Absolutely.
Hundreds of
We get
thousands
paid
of
for
dollars.
everything you see. Coors Light pays us.
Yeah. The Blackhawks are paying paying you.
iTrees.com pays us for sure. We're in their office. They give us a studio.
Yeah, iTrees is giving us a studio right now, so
I
you
don't
better
understand
bet
how.
we're
Okay, here's what I don't understand. When I click watching now, it shows like 5 people right now. But like Scott just messaged in, he's clearly watching it. It didn't show him on the watching now list, so I don't know who's actually watching now.
it's a fake list. It's fake news.
So anyway, didn't mean to cut you off there, but we're on to my number.
So it's your number 4. Yeah, my number 5 was Face Off. Your number 4 is
National Treasure.
National Treasure. Wow, you got that one high.
I enjoy this movie. It's just a fun
It's
movie.
so fun.
It makes you smile. It's like the Da Vinci Code, kind of, in a way, which
It is
I'm a big fan of, the Da Vinci Code.
Yeah.
Nic Cage
Dan Brown
would have been
wrote that
better
book.
than Tom Hanks in that movie.
I completely agree with you.
But I'm a huge fan of that type of movie, that caper, like a cross
That's what it is.
across
a
the
caper.
world caper. You know what I mean? And
What are they caping?
I don't know. They're always moving. They're on the
Capering.
move. It's a treasure hunt.
Yeah, and they're always being chased.
It's just
It is literally a treasure hunt.
It literally sparks my. It hits almost every note for me and what I want out from a movie.
I completely agree. I get very excited.
And he's a very Indiana Jones type character. I want to watch this movie all the time. I'm constantly trying to convince my kids to watch this movie.
I know. Now I feel like I should have had it way higher.
And I really enjoy it. I love it. I like the second one. The second one's great too. They're both good. I'm excited that there's a third one coming out.
I am too, and I had just read it recently that they are going to do this, and Nic Cage has already signed on saying, yes, absolutely, I'll do that. So
Well,
that's
it's
good.
his only real franchise going on right now. Unless he can redo the Ghost Rider.
I think he can come back as Ghost Rider 3
I don't think so.
and Ghost Ride his whip.
Although that's a good movie too. That's my number 4. Your number 4, Gerald.
My number 4 is one that I did have higher than you, and you said most people would have it higher on their list. I did. It's not top 3, but it is number 4, Gone in 60 Seconds.
Aha.
Golly, did I watch this movie a lot. I have watched it so many times. It's very good. It is one of the first, it's probably one of the first Nic Cage movies that I watched all the time.
Yeah.
There are some that came before, but honestly, this is the movie that got me into Nicolas Cage, and that I started watching other movies, that came before this, but I watched them after, and including my number 1. But Gone in 60 Seconds sold me on Nic Cage. Everything about it was very good. Loved it.
All right. My number 3 is probably one of the movies that sold me on Nic Cage.
Okay.
And it's a Michael Bay film, an early Michael Bay film. And I understand Michael Bay makes a certain type of movie.
Yeah.
But I feel like this was before that.
Michael Bay film that Nicolas Cage was in?
Yeah, it's got Sean Connery in it.
Oh.
Winner
Yes,
fucked a prom queen.
Welcome to the Rock.
My wife was the prom queen.
Yeah. My wife was the prom queen.
It was directed by Michael Bay and produced by Jerry Bruckheimer, who produced every movie in the 90s. It's a 1996 movie. It's The Rock.
The Rock. Yes.
I love this movie.
Yes, I do too.
It just doesn't get old. Ed Harris is amazing in it. Sean Connery is one of my
Ed
favorites.
Harris is
ever.
like the bad guy.
Yes. Kind of, but a sympathetic villain.
Yes, he is a
He's
very
got
sympathetic
point.
villain.
He wants to just poison people with toxic gas because of VA benefits or something like that.
It's like they only gave me 10% disability. This is bullshit.
It's the most convoluted plot that ever existed in a movie, and it makes no sense, but it has no purpose other than to have Nic Cage and Sean Connery break into Alcatraz, which
Yes,
wouldn't
they break into
probably be a difficult place to break into now that it's been decommissioned and is a tourist attraction.
right, but there was a bunch of like rogue military
Yes, they
guys
had it
that were
taken over.
protecting the whole place. So remember when they went into like the showers and they were all up top around
Yes.
around them and shooting at the shower things? That's like right now you can play Call of Duty and you have to go to the gulag if you die. The gulag is where you and one other person have to fight to the death.
Okay.
And then you can get back into the main game if you win. If you die, you're just out. But if you die in the main game, you go to the gulag, which is like a prison. And then they put you in this pit and you fight another guy. They give you only one weapon and so many bullets. Even if you have a gun, you may not. You might have a crossbow. You might just have throwing knives.
Sounds amazing.
And you have to fight each other. And whoever kills the other person first gets back into the game. Well, in the gulag, that's what it is. There's people up on a top ring around you, watching you, and then you're down below.
They're betting money.
Basically, you're in the showers of the Rock in Alcatraz. That's
Gotcha.
what you're in. And that's what it always has reminded me of.
Well, in any case,
Sorry.
I don't know. I just love that movie. I think everybody likes that movie.
I think
it's impossible to not love that
My
movie.
favorite part of that movie is where he has to dive across to grab those green balls of nerve gas and save everything.
Those jingly green balls.
The jingly green balls, and it like drops off the
sarin gas, right? It's like sarin
yes,
gas.
it drops off the chain, and he dives and puts his hand under it and saves the gas from exploding, because of course he has to be like what is he, like a nerve agent guy?
Yeah. So that's my number 3, The Rock.
My number 3, a little bit different type of movie where Joel and Ethan Coen put it together. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Are you sure you know this movie?
Yes.
Raising Arizona, 1987, old film. It's the year I was born, Chris. It's 33 years old.
I was not expecting you to have this pick.
Really?
I didn't know that you ever really watched this movie. I thought we have talked about it before, and you didn't really seem to know this movie.
I don't believe you.
Okay. It might have been somebody else.
Leaving Las Vegas, I haven't really seen.
Might have been somebody else
much.
I was talking to. Anyway, go ahead.
I thoroughly enjoy this movie. It is something. It's obviously different than the rest of his movies because it's like a different story, but
It's a comedy.
It's a comedy, and they're stealing children to raise on their own, and it's just
they're stealing a child.
Well, one child out of, what was it, 5?
Yeah.
Like this guy had, the Arizonas had 5 kids, and they take one of them. Anyway, because they couldn't, all stemming around being infertile.
Yeah.
That's all it stems around. They're just really trashy people. It's super funny. It's a fun movie. I like it. Obviously, the American
lives. Film Institute, the AFI, this is as the 31st out of 100 greatest comedies. It's number 31.
Really?
For like the last 100 years, yeah.
Obviously, they steal a kid, so it kind of changes their lives a little bit.
Holly Hunter is fantastic.
Everyone, I think, in the movie is fantastic. Yeah. I think everything about this movie.
John Goodman's in it, right?
Yep. Yes, absolutely. John Goodman's in it.
Frances McDormand before Fargo. This is a pre-Fargo movie.
It's kind of like tongue-in-cheek comedy in a way.
It's a dark comedy.
But it is dark, yeah.
It's just like any other Coen Brothers movie. Kind of.
Yeah, it's very much like any Coen Brothers stuff. Isn't this their first film?
I don't know about that. But it'd be early on, yeah.
Because it's in 87.
It'd be early on for sure.
So April 17th, 1987, this came out. Exactly 8 days later, I was born.
Miller's Crossing was early on. Barton Fink was 1991.
They did Barton Fink?
Yeah.
Love that movie.
I love that movie. Hudsucker Proxy did that too. I love that movie. Okay, no. Their first movie, listen to this.
Boy, they're a lot older than I thought.
He developed a talent. We're talking about one of the brothers. Developed a talent for film editing and met Sam Raimi while assisting Edna Ruth Paul in editing Raimi's first film, Evil Dead, in 1981.
Wow.
In 1984, the brothers wrote and directed Blood Simple. The film starred Frances McDormand and some other people. The next project was Crime Wave, directed by Sam Raimi and written by the Coen brothers and Raimi. Joel and Raimi also made a cameo in Spies Like Us. Love that movie. The brothers, so their first real film was Raising Arizona. Their first actual studio film.
I just read one of the quotes, and I think it's so funny. Sorry.
What's that?
He said, Edwina's insides were a rocky place where my seed could find no purchase.
It's a phenomenal movie.
It's so good.
And that brings me to my number 2, which is Raising Arizona. God damn, guys, if you haven't seen this movie, you need to see this movie right away. I know a lot of people haven't seen it. I happen to be like a huge fan of the Coen brothers.
Yes.
And I've watched this movie a long time ago, decades ago. But it is one to go back to and watch every couple years because it's that good. And Holly Hunter and Nic Cage are both spectacular in it.
Absolutely. Everybody is. I think it's so good. John Goodman is very good in it.
That's it.
My number 2 is Welcome to the Rock. I've always loved this movie. I think Sean Connery's amazing. They crawl through a tunnel to get in. Why you have like this 75-year-old man help you break into Alcatraz, I don't know. Again, like a nostalgia pick where I have watched it so many times that I cannot not put it on my list, and I have to put it up towards the top because it is one that I just went back to over and over and over again. Just a little bit less than what my number 1 will be.
Ooh. My number 1, Jerry, is not only one of my favorite movies of all time, it's my favorite Nic Cage movie of all time.
Okay.
And it is Adaptation.
Really?
Yes.
You're going to hate my number 1.
Spike Jonze movie, written by Charlie Kaufman himself.
Yes.
Nicolas Cage plays Kaufman and also plays his fictional twin brother, Donald. He's got twin roles.
Yes.
Played completely differently. One of them is like...
Oh, I forgot about
narcissistic, like OCD, kind of very like shy. And one of them is just kind of slovenly, dumb, like regular out there person. Meryl Streep, of course. All different kinds of people in it. So what you're trying to kind of get at earlier is it is a movie about Kaufman trying to write the screenplay adaptation for The Orchid Thief, but
Yeah,
the plot of the movie is him falling into the plot of The Orchid Thief that he's writing.
Right.
So he's like living the screenplay that he's writing at the same time.
Yes.
And you don't know what's real and what's not real because you're dealing with a character that's so inside of their head that you don't know what's going on.
Where you're at. You don't know if you're in real life or in his head, what he's thinking about, what the book is about.
He's got writer's block. That's kind of the main point. Adaptation adds a number of fictitious elements, including Kaufman's twin brother and a romance between two people. It culminates in completely invented events, including fictional versions of Orlean and LaRoche 3 years after the events related to the Orchid Thief. Charlie Kaufman, I love him. He did Being John Malkovich. He did a lot of other movies like that. He's incredible. Spike Jonze, I like a lot too. And it's an incredible movie that everybody needs to see. And specifically, if you're a Nic Cage fan, it is probably, I think, because he plays the two roles and they're so very different, it shows it's like the best, it's his best acting.
I agree with you. It really is his best acting. My number one is not his best acting. People are going to hate me for putting this as my number one. You're going to hate me for putting this as my number one. All right.
I already hate you.
You already hate me. I know. And a lot of people are going to hate me for this. And I will gladly take the stones you throw. I will accept them. But I freaking love Con Air.
I mean, a lot of people do.
I can't get over Con Air.
I like the movie, but
I don't
love this movie as much as you do.
His
ripped abs.
His ripped abs. His 5 o'clock shadow. He's an ex-Army Ranger that got a bad rap, went to jail. He gets paroled, and for some reason they have to put him on a C-130 flight with a bunch of really bad prisoners, right? And then on the plane, the prisoners take it over. They hijack the plane. He's got to figure out a way off. All right? And you know what else?
Steve Buscemi.
Steve Buscemi has the whole world in his hands.
I got the whole world
in his hands. He's got the whole wide world.
Yes.
He's the insane one, right? Because of his big eyes. You can tell because of his big eyes.
Yeah, he's a big-eyed guy.
He's the insane, weird guy. And then John Malkovich is involved, too. He's on the plane.
That guy's awesome.
You can't trust him, right?
He's so good. John Malkovich, by the way, side note, is so good in the show Space Force.
So
Did you ever watch that?
I didn't finish. I've only seen the first episode.
You need to go watch Space Force.
Okay.
It's such a good show.
I think John Malkovich is good in anything he does.
He is, but
literally
anyway,
anything.
Continue on Con Air.
And
Ving Rhames.
I don't know.
Is Ving Rhames in that movie?
Yeah, Ving Rhames is in it. What was his name? Ving Rhames.
Craig
is
says
Diamond Dog.
Craig says my little hummingbird.
My little hummingbird. You don't treat women like that. As he's slamming a guy's head up against the wall. I mean, come on. That's the best. That's what put him in jail.
Con Air to me is the perfect example of like the generic
It is
Nicolas Cage. This is what he was doing in the 90s, folks. Movie.
Cameron Poe. That's his name.
I know. It's
highly decorated U.S. Army Ranger.
Con Air, The Rock, and Gone in 60 Seconds are like the same movie, basically.
Con Air and Gone in 60 Seconds are. I would say Con Air.
He plays the same character, I meant to say.
Oh, yeah.
In those,
I guess
all
similar.
of those movies, and probably Face Off as well. Well, no, Face Off is its own thing. Face Off is so out there that it's its own thing.
Yeah.
That's why I gravitate more towards the
packed.
other types of roles that Nic Cage has played, I feel like. But that's not to say I don't like Con Air. It's fine. It's just Ryan Fry says Cyrus the Virus.
Is John Malkovich.
John Malkovich.
He's Cyrus the Virus.
He says, don't touch the bunny.
Yeah. See, people are coming out of the woodwork saying Con Air is the best movie of all time. Nicolas Cage is the best actor of all time. And in no way can anyone argue this. That's what I'm hearing.
I mean,
from the comments.
this is as active as the comment section has been the
Yes.
entire time, which makes me think
This is widely known as the greatest movie of Nicolas
it's
Cage's
definitely
career.
the most over-the-top performance of
This also came out in 97. So
next
he
to
had
maybe Vampire's Kiss. This is the most over-top performance.
he had Face Off, The Rock, and Con Air come out in 2 years.
Yeah.
The Rock was in 96, Face Off and Con Air both in 97. Crazy.
He had a run, man.
That dude was making some
the
cash.
90s. Yeah, but he spent it all on Action Comics #1s. He owns
And-
like a bunch of Action Comics #1s. If you guys don't know, it's like the first appearance of Superman.
Yeah, but-
they're worth like $10 million.
He also bought
Huge amounts of real estate. Lost his ass.
Yes, but he also bought a painting, like this really expensive painting. He ends up buying it off this auction. And then they found out the painting was stolen by the company from somebody who originally owned it. And they had to take it back. And he never got his money back from this auction.
Well, it's widely known. This is why he's in so many movies, is because he has horrible money problems all the time because he spends ridiculous amounts of money on ridiculous things.
He's been in over like 110 films.
He blew his entire $150 million fortune on eccentric purchases, probably like Action Comics #1.
Did you know he's a Coppala?
I did. I was going to mention that. So he is a huge nerd.
Yeah.
People don't know this. He was slated in the late 90s to be Superman.
He was. You're right.
It was a script written by Kevin Smith. It was to be directed by Tim Burton. I just watched Tim Burton on the Howard Stern show in an old interview talking about this and how it all fell apart. After the success of Batman, they wanted to do Superman. They got the script written. He wanted Nic Cage. Nic Cage would have been an interesting choice. And he was talking about how Nic Cage would have been perfect for Superman because he would be perfect for Clark Kent.
Yes.
And he's the only actor, and Tim Burton said this, he's the only actor working today that can completely transform himself to be a completely different character when being Superman and Clark Kent.
100%.
Every other actor I've ever seen do it, they look exactly the same, they act exactly the same. Nic Cage can completely transform himself. So he would have been a perfect Superman.
Couple comments here. David Seedentop says Nic Cage only signs movie deals if the movies get a certain amount of airtime on USA, TNT, and TBS. And he's right.
Is that true?
No, it's a joke because all of his movies air on USA, TNT, and
He said-
TBS constantly.
And Craig said, didn't he buy a
So,
dinosaur?
yeah, I might have been wrong on that. I think he did buy like a fossil of some sort. Or it wasn't a whole dinosaur, I don't think, but he bought a fossil instead of a painting. I think that's what it was.
Well, let's see. He didn't hold his fortune. He foreclosed on several properties and owed the IRS $6.3 million in property taxes. That's not a ton of money for him. He had $150 million. Now he's worth about $25 million. That seems low.
Really?
Let's see some of the things he bought. Cage once owned 15 residences, including a $25 million waterfront home in Newport Beach
And
and
that's
a
all he's
$15
worth
million
now.
countryside estate in Newport, Rhode Island, and an $8.5 million abode in Las Vegas, pictured below.
He's not a drug addict, is he?
No. He also purchased a $3.4 million mansion in New Orleans because it was known as one of the most haunted houses in America. Over in Europe, he purchased not one but two castles for $10 million and $2 million respectively. He got an island in the Bahamas for $3 million, deserted. He got a 9-foot tall burial tomb. He bought
You need one of those.
shrunken pygmy heads. He blew $450,000 on the late Shah of Iran's Lamborghini and $150,000 on a pet octopus. He spent
$150,000 for a pet octopus.
$150,000 on
Oh my gosh.
Action Comics #1. That's the first appearance of Superman, and that book is worth millions.
Yeah,
now,
he
so,
could get millions for that, for sure.
He bought a 70-million-year-old dinosaur skull, outbidding Leonardo DiCaprio for $276,000.
Okay, so
it
dinosaur
turned out to be stolen,
Yes, that's what I was
and
talking
he had to
about.
return it to the Mongolian government.
So he lost.
Listen, none of those things sound expensive when you're worth as much money he's got to be worth.
Well, yeah, but put all that stuff together and it's a lot of money. When you lose it all.
Johnny Depp spends $200,000 a month on a private jet and $30,000 a month on wine.
That seems extravagant.
But he's worth a lot more money than Nic Cage. I can guarantee you that.
Well, I guarantee you too. But still, $30,000 on wine. What are you drinking? How much wine are you drinking?
Well, he's probably drinking $10,000 bottles of wine, or $2,000 a bottles of wine. I drank once
That's a thing.
Okay. One time, we talked about Jimmy John's. One time when I worked for Jimmy John, I sat down. I had a bottle of wine with him. We had a great time. And he gave me one. He's like, yeah. And I'm like, this is the best wine I've ever had in my life. It was legit amazing.
Really?
And I was a bit of a wine
connoisseur
at the time.
David Seedentop, wine connoisseur.
Not as much now, but I was at the time. So we're drinking this wine. I can't remember what it was called now. I wish I could remember. Silver something.
Silver Leaf. Silver Echo.
So we're drinking this, and
Silver
he's like,
Tambourine.
He's like, oh, you like it? Here, take one. So we took it and drank that one too immediately.
Of course.
At that moment, we drank like 6 bottles. Of
You
this
and you and Nicolas.
Yeah, and Jimmy.
Oh, and Jimmy John.
And after that, somehow in the conversation, it came out that this wine was like $2,000 a bottle. And I'm just like, what?
You're like, you're not even paying me $2,000 a month.
We got paid $400 a week when we worked for him.
$400 a week.
$400 a week on salary, and we worked like 60 hours plus.
So I'm right. You didn't even get paid $2,000 a month.
Correct.
So I guess that's a little bit of an incentive that you get to have a $2,000 bottle of wine.
A bunch of them.
Wow.
Anyway, I don't know how this got brought up.
Can you imagine being worth that amount of money?
His company turned $1 billion when I worked for him.
Really? He sold it all now, right? He doesn't own it.
I don't know. Something happened recently, but I don't think he sold it all. No. He still owns.
Super drug addict.
I don't think so anymore.
Abuses wives?
I wouldn't say that. No.
Oh.
I don't think that was the case.
I'm asking. You know everything about him.
I don't know.
You were in the inside underground depths
Nic
of
Cage, though.
Jimmy John's hell.
That's true, I was. Yes, but Nic Cage is a Coppala.
He is.
He's a huge comic book nerd.
Francis Ford Coppola's nephew.
One of the biggest comic book nerds in the world. So much so that when he started going to Hollywood, he didn't want the name Coppala.
No. He wanted no part of it.
And he looked to inspirations in comic books. And he drew his last name from Luke Cage.
Who was from Mortal Kombat.
No. A Marvel Comics hero, Luke Cage.
Not Johnny Cage?
Not Johnny Cage.
Oh.
I was just playing Mortal Kombat 3 the other day, though.
Yeah.
I got this little arcade thing that you plug into the TV. I bought it for our studio.
Oh, yeah. I remember
And
this.
I have it at my house, and it is awesome. And it's got 2 joysticks and all the buttons, and it's all
You've got
LED.
to put it in like a case, though, still,
Well,
right?
you don't have to. It's all LED lit, and it
Oh.
has like 5,000 games on it. It's got all the Mortal Kombat games, Street Fighter games.
You've
all
had
the
it for a
Marvel
while
games,
now, have you?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle games, all of them. Yeah. You just got to hook it up with the TV, and you can play them. I'm going to bring it here. That's the whole point, to have it in our studio. But, Jerry isn't contributing to fixing anything in our studio, so I gave up on it.
Oh, I haven't.
But anyway, Nic Cage. That's the top 10.
That is our top 10.
Listen, guys, we got honorable mentions. We got time. We're going to do them tonight. We got 5 more honorable mentions. We're not going to do them on Facebook Live.
We aren't. Facebook Live is
They're
going
not going to be
end.
available via YouTube.
No.
They're not going to be on the podcast.
They will not.
They're going to be where, Jerry?
They're going to be on patreon.com/snarfcomics.
That's the only way you're going to get them.
Because that's where we put our honorable mentions. That's where we put our extra content.
Snarfioki, extra podcasts,
so many
pages,
things.
comic book art, all kinds of things.
Go on Patreon.
$5 a month level, you subscribe, you get access to all of our content.
So at $1 a month, you still get like some extra things. But you don't get the extra episodes. So all the extra episodes, I only allow the $5 and above month.
Right.
$5 and above a month. So at $1, you will get extra like stickers. Whenever we get new stickers and new things come out, you'll get that. But other than that, that's about what you get. Anything above there, you're going to get all of the extra content. And to be honest, it's not that much money, guys.
$5 a month, that's like one Monster Energy drink.
Right. Don't go to Casey's.
It's like half a pack of cigarettes a
Don't
month.
go to Casey's one time, and you're supporting a show that we
Don't go to
all
Casey's
love.
one time, and you've just paid for 3 months worth of
Yeah,
Snarf Talk.
that's, to be honest, that's true. Because I spend so much money at Casey's, it's
obscene.
ridiculous. I have to get a loan. I've got a home equity loan out right now just so I can go to Casey's.
Yes.
Patreon.com/snarfcomics. Check it out.
Get on there.
Subscribe if you can.
We're trying to do like the next couple months leading up to our 100. We're trying to do like a drive, a push.
A push.
We need more Patreon subscribers.
Yeah.
We would appreciate it if you'd support the show, even $1 a month. That'd be great.
And to be honest, even if you don't want to watch the videos, subscribe on YouTube. Just give us the subscription.
And leave
right?
reviews like everywhere, like on Spotify and Apple.
Yes.
Like go out of your way to spend 5 minutes and go and leave us reviews everywhere.
They really help.
It really does help the show significantly.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised. And just sharing stuff on Facebook, doing things like that, they make a big difference.
Yeah, it puts you out in different demographics. Like it brings you out into the social media world when people are commenting.
Yeah, like Craig.
And socializing on things. Craig
He's
is
watching
very
right now.
good at it.
We only have 2 mutual friends. So you got a whole world of friends that can get out there.
Craig's very good at interacting on our social media. He's always done a very good job on our Facebook
Mr.
page.
Max Phillips has been hanging with us all night long.
Has he?
Maxie boy.
Max, my man. Thanks.
Ryan Fry's been with us all night. David Seedentop's been with us all night. People have been in and out. All kinds of people. Tons of people have been in and out.
Good.
And I think this was
Yes. It was a
success.
I agree.
I had a Biden moment there.
You did. You really did. Good thing you weren't wiretapped.
I think that we're going to end it here, guys. If you're interested in a t-shirt, let us know. We will get you one. They cost money. $20 for a t-shirt, $30 for a hoodie. We're entering hoodie season, so let's get it rocking and rolling. Patreon.com/snarfcomics. And thank you for sticking around for our very first live Facebook feed.
Live podcast.
In the future, we'll be able to do it on Facebook and YouTube, hopefully. But for the next month, we'll probably only be on Facebook.
Yeah.
We're still good?
Sure.
Just hit record. We're still going live.
Yeah.
For Snarf Talk this week, I've been Chris.
I am Jerry.
See ya.
Bye.
And play.
For some reason, it was overloading.
We're having problems, Gerald.
Yeah, this is what happens.
This is what happens when you have an 18-year-old computer, Jerry.
It's not 18 years old. It's 8 years old. It's a 2012, I believe.
We're still going live, guys.
Yeah.
Even though we did the ending, because Jerry needs to play our outro music so I can layer over.
I didn't know I had to play it. It was in the wrong position on my recording part.
So, bonus content. Go to Snarf Talk, and we're going to do our... we got 5 honorable mentions each for Nic Cage movies, and you're going to want to hear them.
Yeah. We've got 5 honorable mentions, and now we can do... For Snarf Talk this week.
For Snarf Talk this week, I've been Chris.
I am Jerry.
See ya.
Bye.